Hey everybody, this is Drink64, and holy crap, I just watched Baby, the newest episode of the Star Bomb, and well, what an episode it was. Probably one of the best ones so far, mostly just because a lot of the stuff that happened, the new character that got introduced, it was so amazing, it was a lot of fun. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys. So, first of all, Baby, just first hearing about this episode, it didn't seem like much. Star's fairy god something, I'm still not sure what it was. Was it fairy godmother, I guess? Star's fairy godmother comes to do an evaluation on Star, and that's about it. There wasn't really much else I could really think that was going to happen in this episode. It didn't seem like a plot-heavy episode, and then the episode came, and having seen it, it's a much more plot-heavy episode than what we anticipated. A lot more shit happened, especially at the beginning and the end, mostly. But a lot of the stuff was really cool, especially a lot of the stuff in the middle with Baby itself, so we'll get into that as we get into that. But overall, just in general, this episode was awesome. By far one of the better ones in the Star Bomb so far. Probably even better than Raid the Cave, at least for me, just because of Baby herself as well. But getting straight into it, the episode starts off with Moon and Star's dad. Forgive me, I don't know his name exactly. I apologize, I probably should. I love the guy. Who are still upset about what happened to Glossaric. Obviously, Star's dad doesn't like Glossaric, which... Come on, dude. I actually like you. Don't hate on Glossaric, because I actually like you and him. And, you know, Moon actually still doesn't know what to do about it. So it seems to have sort of cleared up what happened in the Raid the Cave. I thought it was a bit weird that her parents just seemed to want to forget about Glossaric in the book, and that seemed a bit weird. But it looks like, you know, they were just trying to keep their cool, keep their calm, and they didn't want to worry Star too much, which is perfectly normal. They are her parents, and they do look out for her. But they are still worried kind of deeply on the inside, so that's kind of the thing. So, if you guys remember from the promo as well, Moon actually put this sort of vial in front of Star's dad, and he looked pretty shocked, and I thought it might be poison, it might be someone else. No, it was Moon. Nothing really weird here. The bottle actually contained Baby herself, so that was pretty weird. And, yeah, he also hates Baby, apparently, so... Me and Star's dad don't really get along, but hey. So she releases Baby without his permission, may I add, so yeah. And Baby goes on to check on the evaluation on Star. Just to really put it into context, this first scene is great. It shows Star's parents and how they're dealing with the whole Glossaric thing. They're basically on opposite sides. Like, Star's dad personally doesn't care. He wasn't kidding when he said it was just a book and a magic man. But Star's mom does seem to care. She is still worried about what's happened to Glossaric and wants to do something about it, but doesn't know exactly what. So, I did really like this first scene. I'll get into the last scene later because that shit was awesome. But going straight into what happens next, basically Baby goes to Star's house and begins the evaluation. Star's cleaning up her room because she knows the evaluation's gonna happen and doesn't want her to see all the trash in her room, which is a pretty messy room. Might want to clear that up, Star, but... Baby comes, sees that it's all clean, eats all the food that Marco prepared, which... Poor Marco making all that food. That was kind of a shame on his part, but goes to make more food after, so... That's a lot of work for one day. So basically, Baby gets Star to tell her about her room, goes into the closet of her secrets, sees all the mess anyway, so everything Star did earlier in the episode was pretty much mundane anyway. After this, Baby asks Star to basically teach her how to use magic or not how to use magic, how she uses magic. So she places an apple on some kind of pedestal and asks Star to give me the apple without damaging it. Star does it multiple times, fails every time, and, you know, check kind of ensues, you know, can't really get it. She uses Narwhal Blast and a bunch of her other spells, but she doesn't really have any kind of levitation spell, I assume. I mean, I guess, I don't know why. I would have thought a levitation spell wouldn't be that hard to do, but it is Star, so who the hell knows. So basically, not being able to do this, seeing all the mess in Star's room, and eating Marco out of all of his hard work, Baby fails Star. She hasn't done her job very well. And they actually brought up this point in the beginning, but I wanted to bring it up here because Baby kind of reinforces it. And that is that there is the chance of Star going back to Muni for good if this fails. And obviously she doesn't, but we don't know how that's going to continue. So they are starting to reinforce the idea of, holy no, Star going back to Muni forever. Like, that is kind of endgame stuff right now, and we're definitely not approaching the endgame anytime soon, so you have to wonder where they're building up with this. I just thought that was really interesting, and that was a really cool point in the episode. So basically, Baby fails Star. She's done everything wrong, including the notebook that she started writing with all her own spells because she lost the other book of spells with Glossaric. So yeah, Baby kind of fails her on that point as well. Baby's about to leave before Marco comes in with a baseball bat, which honestly I thought that was great. A lot of the moments in this episode were pure gold, especially the moment where Star uses sort of a flooding spell, but it's cut away at the perfect time before she uses the spell, just before it actually hits, and it's so much funnier after, you know, it cuts back to the flooding. It's really good. And I love this episode for its humor. It was done really well, so I really appreciate that. I think it's one of the things I really like about this one. So, Baby's about to leave, as I was saying, and basically Star does some kind of really cool spell where she cuts the apple in half, and a giant freaking tree grows from the seed, which also sprouts an apple and then brings the apple to Baby. Kind of an extravagant way to do things, but I guess it worked. Baby doesn't exactly fail Star on this, and she goes back to Queen, Butterfly, and Star's dad with obviously the bad news, but also some rather interesting news. So yeah, overall, a lot of the stuff, and I gotta admit, I gotta say this right now, with Baby's character, Melissa Ranch from The Big Bang Theory was amazing. Really great. Loved the performance. I love the character of Baby, and I really hope that we actually get to see her again, because what a great character. What a really, especially toward the end when she started to get a lot more serious as well. So I really enjoyed it, and I really shouldn't be calling I should really be calling it an it, not a she. I'm assuming it's gender at this point. But yeah, I really loved Baby in this episode. One of the highlights of the episode, as well as the humor and as well as the plot development. Anyway, moving on to the final scene of the episode. This is where I kind of lost my shit at the end of this one, and you'll see that in the reaction. But basically, Baby goes back to Moon and Star's dad with the bad news that, you know, she has a secret closet, she has the notebook with her own spells, and all this bad stuff, you know, she's bad with her magic. And basically what Baby says at the end is that I haven't seen this kind of magic since Eclipsa. Now, this was a pretty big moment because obviously they're basically comparing Star to one of what I assume is one of the most evil queens ever. And I'm assuming, like, she's morally hated throughout Muni, at least from what I can gather, because she loved a monster, because she ran away and loved a monster. So to compare Star to one of the most evil queens ever in Muni, I assume, is kind of a big deal, to be perfectly honest. Star's dad even reinforces this by saying in quite a shocked tone, monster lover, and Star's mom does not look very happy about this at all, and the episode basically ends with it panning to Star, a pretty evil, sort of dark looking version of Star, to a picture of Eclipsa. So they're really reinforcing that image right there of the comparison between Star and Eclipsa. And as for where this episode did well, it did well in its humor, its plot development, and Baby itself. That is about the episode, the parts about this episode that I really loved. As for what I didn't like about this episode, there really wasn't much to not like about this episode. I mean, really, I loved it all. It was great. It was a really fun episode, and it was really interesting for its plot development at the end. As for what I think they're doing with Star and Eclipsa at this point, I'm starting to have doubts now on whether Eclipsa could actually come back as a fully fledged villain, or whether they're just starting to go down this route of Star's becoming a lot more dark. She's becoming this more evil princess, and she's eventually going to get to that point where she is the so-called new Eclipsa, and that's going to be really interesting to see how they continue to develop this. I mean, I'd really like it if they brought Eclipsa in as a full-on villain, like she isn't actually dead, holy crap. But again, I think they're going this route of comparing Star to this evil queen who once ruled, and now Star's going to be the new version of this, which is really weird. It feels like it's going to all come down to having to get Star down from the dark side to the light again, which that's actually a really cool thing for them to do for the show if they do go that route, but it's just really interesting to see that this is the way they're taking Star's character, down the route of this Eclipsa, and they're actually reinforcing the idea of this evil queen. That's really awesome, but I don't know what they're doing with it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Just hearing the name Eclipsa and showing us what they showed us was just so epic. I loved it. This episode was just so brilliant to me. I loved it. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.